Eli Manning, he's an assassin to me. He can make throws from the left hash, right hash, down the field. A championship poised quarterback that has been through it all.
Eli Manning, Hall of Famer or not? Far from just another Manning, Eli Manning stands out as one of the most accomplished yet underrated quarterbacks in NFL history. With 2 Super Bowl victories and MVP titles to his name, he's proven his ability to excel on the game's biggest stage. But the big question is if Eli's clutch performances and Super Bowl wins are enough to earn him a place in the NFL Hall of Fame. Eli Manning was born on January 3, 1981, into a family where football was more than just a game. It was a way of life. His father, Archie Manning, was a New Orleans Saint legend who played 13 seasons in the NFL. As the youngest of 3 boys, with his elder brothers being Cooper and the NFL Hall of Famer Peyton, Eli was raised in an environment brimming with strong values, athletic talent, and both academic and sports opportunities. Being the youngest, Eli often found himself the target of playful teasing from Peyton and Cooper, who were 5 and 7 years older than him respectively. Eli followed in his brother's footsteps and attended Isidore Newman School in New Orleans. Playing quarterback like his dad and brother Peyton, he shattered school records with 7,389 passing yards and 89 touchdowns. His exceptional high school performance made him a top recruit, catching the eye of several major colleges including Texas, Virginia, LSU, Ole Miss. Ultimately, he chose to honor his family legacy by attending the University of Mississippi, also known as Ole Miss, which was his father's alma mater. Starting college in the shadow of his brother Peyton, who was then making waves in the NFL with the Colts, Eli hoped to carve out his own legacy at Ole Miss. His freshman year in 2000, however, saw him mostly on the sidelines, playing backup to the established quarterback, Romaro Miller. Eli appeared in just 6 games, attempting a mere 33 passes for 170 yards and throwing 1 interception without a single touchdown. Ole Miss wrapped up that season with a 7-5 record. Eli's sophomore year marked a turning point as he seized the starting quarterback spot, quickly proving his mettle. He led the team to a strong 6-1 start, throwing 17 touchdowns against just 2 interceptions in those games. Despite a mid-season slump, including a heart-stopping 7-overtime defeat to Arkansas, where Eli threw 6 touchdowns, the season ended on a positive note with a 7-4 record. Eli finished the year with 2,948 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. High hopes followed Eli into the 2002 season, which began promisingly with a 5-1 record as he threw 12 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. The Rebels managed to secure bowl eligibility with a win against Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl and capped the season with a victory over Nebraska in the Independence Bowl, where Eli threw for 313 yards and a touchdown. That season, Eli improved to 3,401 passing yards and 25 touchdowns. After his junior year, Eli had the option to enter the 2003 NFL Draft, but he chose to stick around at Ole Miss for his senior year. He had big goals in mind. He wanted to achieve something that his brother Peyton had accomplished at Tennessee, winning double-digit games in a season. His decision set the stage for what would become one of the most record-shattering seasons in Ole Miss history. The 2003 season started off slowly for the Rebels, with an initial record of 2-2. During those games, Eli threw for 1,329 yards, scored 11 touchdowns, and had 4 interceptions. However, the team quickly turned things around and ripped off 6 straight victories, including major wins against SEC powerhouses like Florida, Alabama, Arkansas, and Auburn. In this incredible winning streak, Eli racked up another 1,552 passing yards, tossed 12 more touchdowns, and kept his interceptions down to 4. By the end of the season, he had led Ole Miss to a 10-3 record, marking their first season with 10 wins since 1971. Eli was phenomenal during his senior year, throwing for 3,600 yards and 29 touchdowns. Entering the 2004 NFL Draft, Eli Manning was a standout prospect in a class filled with talented quarterbacks, including Philip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger. With his Manning pedigree and undeniable skill, Eli was the obvious choice for the first overall pick. However, despite the San Diego Chargers holding that first pick, Eli and his father Archie were vocal about not wanting to play for them. They pointed to the Chargers' mishandling of previous players like Ryan Leaf and the small market size of San Diego as just a couple of their concerns. The Chargers went ahead and drafted Eli first overall.
With the first choice in the 2004 NFL Draft, the San Diego Chargers select Eli Manning,
but he wouldn't stay with them long. In a high-profile trade, Eli was sent to the New York Giants in exchange for quarterback Phillip Rivers, along with a package of draft picks. Eli's rookie year under new head coach Tom Coughlin was a season of learning and adjustment. He shared starting duties with the seasoned Kurt Warner. Warner served as a temporary bridge, allowing Eli time to digest the playbook and adapt to the NFL's pace. In his 7 starts, Eli's record was 1-6. He threw for 1,043 yards with 6 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. The following season saw Warner leaving the Giants, and Eli took over as the full-time starter. He kicked off the season strong with 2 consecutive wins before a memorable game against the San Diego Chargers in Week 3. By Week 4, Eli was hitting his stride, throwing for nearly 300 yards and a career-high 4 touchdowns in a decisive 44-24 victory over the St. Louis Rams at Giants Stadium. He ended the season with 3,762 passing yards and 24 touchdowns, leading the Giants to an 11-5 record and a playoff spot. However, Eli's first playoff appearance ended in disappointment, with the Giants being shut out 23-0 by the Panthers in the wild-card round. In 2006, his second full season as a starter, Eli Manning had a strong start in the first half of the season, yet the latter half of the season proved challenging. His performance dipped as key players suffered injuries, but despite these hurdles, the Giants managed an 8-8 record. They clinched a wild-card spot but were edged out by the Philadelphia Eagles in a nail-biting finish, losing to a last-second field goal. Over the year, Eli threw for 3,244 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 18 interceptions. As the 2007 season approached, there were doubts over Eli's ability to secure a championship win for New York, spurred on by his tendency for inconsistency and interceptions. However, Eli kicked off the season with a remarkable performance against the Dallas Cowboys, completing 28 out of 41 passes for 312 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception in a high-scoring 45-35 loss. This strong start set the tone for the rest of the season as the Giants finished with a 10-6 record. Manning ended the regular season with 3,336 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, and 20 interceptions, earning a 73.9 passer rating. The Giants entered the playoffs as underdogs, but quickly dispelled any doubts by defeating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 24-14 in the wild-card round, with Eli completing 20 of 27 passes for 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. The divisional round brought another challenge against the top-seeded Dallas Cowboys, yet the Giants pulled off a stunning 21-17 upset, with Eli throwing for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns. The NFC Championship game against the Green Bay Packers was an iconic battle in brutally cold conditions, ending in a 23-20 victory for the Giants, sealing their spot in Super Bowl XLII.
Now the distance it is good! Lawrence Tynes has kicked the Giants to the Super Bowl!
Facing the undefeated New England Patriots, the Giants were clear underdogs. The game was a defensive showdown, and with just 2 minutes and 42 seconds left on the clock and trailing 14-10, Eli orchestrated an 83-yard drive, culminating in one of the most memorable plays in NFL history. On 3rd and 5, Eli escaped the near sack and connected with David Tyree, who made a miraculous helmet catch, setting up a 13-yard touchdown pass to Plaxico Burress with just 35 seconds to go, securing a 17-14 victory. This stunning upset not only made the Giants Super Bowl champions, but also earned Eli Manning the Super Bowl MVP title after throwing for 255 yards and 2 touchdowns, cementing his status as a clutch performer in the most critical moments. After their Super Bowl victory, the Giants aimed to repeat their success in 2008. They finished the regular season strong with a 12-4 record, and Eli Manning earned his first Pro Bowl selection by throwing for 3,238 yards and 21 touchdowns. As the NFC's top seed, they secured a first-round bye and home field advantage, but their playoff run was cut short by a 23-11 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in the divisional round, with Eli throwing 2 interceptions and no touchdowns. Before the 2009 season began, Eli signed a 6-year, $97.5 million contract extension. The Giants started the season well, going 3-0, but they struggled as the season progressed and finished with an 8-8 record, missing the playoffs. Despite the team's ups and downs, Eli achieved career highs with 4,021 passing yards, 27 touchdowns. The 2010 season saw the Giants finish with a 10-6 record, yet they still missed the playoffs. Eli threw for 4,002 yards and a career-high 31 touchdowns, but also led the league with 25 interceptions. The pressure was on Giants head coach Tom Coughlin heading into the 2011 season. The team had a shaky start, going 6-6, but they rallied to win 3 of their last 4 games, securing a playoff berth as a wildcard team. This stretch included a crucial victory over the Dallas Cowboys and a memorable 99-yard touchdown pass from Eli to Victor Cruz against the New York Jets on Christmas Eve, setting an NFL record.
What a man to beat! Victor Cruz down the sideline. Cruz is going to take it all the way, tying an NFL record. 99 yards from Manning to Cruz.
Eli finished the regular season with 4,933 yards and 29 touchdowns, earning his second Pro Bowl nod. The Giants began their 2011 postseason with a 24-2 thrashing of the Atlanta Falcons. In the divisional round, they stunned the top-seeded Green Bay Packers 37-20, with Eli throwing for 3 touchdowns. Then they faced the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship game, a grueling match that went into overtime and ended with a 2017 Giants win, thanks to a Lawrence Tynes field goal. In Super Bowl 46, Eli once again led the Giants to a victory over Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, 21-17 at Lucas Oil Stadium. He threw for 296 yards and a touchdown, securing his second Super Bowl MVP award. During the 2011 playoffs, Eli set an NFL record with 1,219 passing yards, alongside 9 touchdowns and just 1 interception, completing one of the best playoff performances in NFL history. However, the following 2012 season was disappointing for the Giants as they went 9-7 and missed the playoffs. Eli was still selected for his 3rd Pro Bowl, finishing the season with 26 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, and 3,948 passing yards. The following 2013 season started even worse, with the Giants losing their first 6 games. Turnovers were a major issue, and the team finished 7-9, marking their first losing season since 2004. Eli threw for 3,818 yards and 18 touchdowns and led the league with 27 interceptions. Following the season, longtime offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride retired and was replaced by Ben McAdoo. In 2014 under McAdoo, the Giants had another tough season, finishing 6-10. Despite the team's struggles, Eli had a strong year statistically, throwing for 30 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and 4,410 passing yards. The 2015 season mirrored the previous one, with the Giants finishing 6-10 again. Although Eli posted career highs in touchdown passes, 35, completions, 387, earning his 4th Pro Bowl selection. After Tom Coughlin retired in 2015, Ben McAdoo was promoted to head coach. The Giants improved to 11-5 in 2016, returning to the playoffs, though they were defeated by the Packers 38-13 in the postseason. Eli's season included 4,027 passing yards and 26 touchdowns. Now, the 2017 season was a challenging one for the Giants, who started with 5 consecutive losses. Despite the team's struggles, Eli Manning maintained a high level of play, although it was evident he was approaching the twilight of his career. The season hit a low point when, after a 2-9 start, head coach Ben McAdoo made the controversial decision to bench Manning in favor of Geno Smith during a late November game against the Oakland Raiders. This decision not only ended Manning's streak of 210 consecutive starts, but also sparked widespread outrage among Giant fans. McAdoo was fired immediately after the game, and under interim coach Steve Spagnuolo, Eli was reinstated as the starter for the remainder of the season. The Giants finished with a 3-13 record, and Eli's future with the team was the subject of much speculation. In 2018, the Giants selected running back Saquon Barkley with the 2nd overall pick, forming a dynamic duo with Odell Beckham Jr. Despite the exciting pairing, the Giants ended the season with a 5-11 record. Manning threw for 4,299 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Heading into the 2019 season, the last year of his contract, the Giants faced a decision. They could release Eli and save $17 million in cash and cap space, but they chose to keep him on the roster. After starting the first 2 games and losing both, Eli was replaced by Daniel Jones, the 6th overall pick from Duke University. Later in the season, Manning returned to the starting lineup when Jones was injured. In what turned out to be his final game against the Miami Dolphins, Eli threw for 283 yards and 2 touchdowns, leading to a 36-20 victory and earning a standing ovation from the home crowd. With his contract expiring and the quarterback market crowded with notable names like Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Ryan Tannehill, and Jameis Winston, Manning faced an uncertain future. Given his declining performance since the Giants' last postseason appearance in 2016 and his expressed reluctance to assume a backup role, Eli opted for retirement, choosing to end his career rather than continue in a diminished capacity. By the time of his retirement, Eli Manning's 4,895 completions, 57,023 passing yards, and 366 passing touchdowns ranked 7th in league history. Despite a regular season record of 117 and 117, his playoff performances were impressive, boasting an 8-4 record. Eli's remarkable durability is highlighted by his 234 starts out of 236 games over 16 seasons, all with the New York Giants. His streaks of 210 consecutive regular season starts and 222 including playoffs rank among the longest for quarterbacks in NFL history. Eli is set to be eligible for induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2025. Eli wasn't just a quarterback, he was a clutch performer who excelled when it mattered most. His 2 Super Bowl MVP awards and victories are legendary. He is one of only 6 players to win multiple Super Bowl MVPs and is 12th all-time in game-winning drives. Eli achieved all this without the benefit of consistently high-profile offensive teammates, often carrying his team through sheer determination and toughness. His postseason heroics, including some of the most iconic plays in Super Bowl history, underscore his knack for delivering under pressure. While some may argue that his regular season performances were not as stellar, his postseason success, durability, and the dramatic nature of his championships form a compelling case for his inclusion in the Hall of Fame. Notably, quarterbacks who have won multiple Super Bowls generally find a place in Canton, with most of Eli's peers in this category already enshrined or expected to be. That said, while Eli Manning will find it hard to gain first ballot entry into the Hall of Fame due to some aspects of his career stats, his postseason achievements, leadership in critical games, and overall impact on the game make a strong case for his eventual induction. It's not just a question of if, but when Eli Manning will join his brother Peyton in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That said, let me know in the comments if you think Eli Manning deserves a spot in Canton. Also, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more NFL videos.